CGI. From a weather perspective, this is probably one of the best I've seen since Cowboy Bebop. That blurry type of very heavy rain looks fantastic. Leave it to a movie to crank it out. Also though, I gotta throw some love on that animation as he walks forwards and the light bounces off his armor. Looks sick. It's certainly not the most fast-paced battle you'll ever witness, but they clearly poured effort into the individual frames rather than flashing all over the place without actually moving characters smoothly. Must admit I'm a little shocked at the darker turn they took here. A lot of blood on display and I don't hate it. Can't even tell you how big of a fan I am of a studio's ability to perform animation when zoomed right out like this and have it look good. I refuse to just let that go by without a win. It's like 300 up in here with him taking them all on by a cliff. Honestly, the animation is great, but what a cool dude as well, taking himself down the cliff in order to continue fighting them down there and doing it too. Didn't think it'd happen so early on, but they can actually have a first max 2 wins for the movie. Firstly, because they accurately detailed how knackered you get in a fight with him panting there. No one really does that in anime. But secondly, because the animation is just that good. Woo! Honestly, some beautiful sounding effects right there. Anime keeps on getting better in that regard over the years. A great looking continuous motion shot as he leapt forwards. Honestly, that's just too good to be a single win. When you factor in the music, the animation, sound effects, and the fact that I adore people like this, fighting so hard in spite of being so tired, struggling to achieve a goal, that sings to me, since I don't even know for how long. Ichiban fighting Tendo in Like a Dragon, Joshua and Estelle giving everything they've got to beat the Professor in Trails in the Sky 2nd chapter, everyone working together to undermine the building power of Father in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's End. I love it, bruh. In fact, even though he sadly failed because of the last win and what I mentioned, he gets a win for going out in style and being brave. Okay, that's genuinely sad. Well played considering I've known him for all of 5 minutes. Goodness me, you cheeky gits, got a win for him striving for victory against the odds, for being a badass whilst doing it, for being taken out, for making me sad about being taken out, and now for still being alive. Well played. Megumi from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Hiro.
Rotating shot like it's no big deal to anime. I love it. Instead of skipping this, or he's magically all better, they go into the nitty gritty about his healing process and how they helped him and took care of his fellow soldiers' bodies and such. Oh wow, so she can do that too! That's pretty cool, as far as world building goes. Can't recall anyone other than our main slimy boy doing it. Unless I've just been away from the show for too long and forgot.
あなたを助けることができるならばと、無力な私をどうかお許しください。
感謝する。助けてもらったってのは分かっている。
Two wins here. Firstly, I like the serious approach to the movie so far, and the characters aligning with that. It just makes people like her and her actions here pop as a result. Secondly, I thought the laying out of their clothing was a lovely touch, to be honest. bro, I really love stuff like that. They got a frickin' landing port for dragons. Not running on the spot for an impressively long amount of time. Absolutely impressive that the studio didn't just rely on easy-to-use CGI here. Instead, from multiple angles, they did it by hand, and it totally shows and is appreciated by me. Gorgeous looking scenery shot of the city, so good I couldn't just mute it and wanted to show it. I also personally love and appreciate where the weather is just doing its thing instead of hanging around on the edge of its seat for a main character to say something fancy and then kicking in. Even a devastated scenery shot is still a scenery shot. I'm devastated. They actually do the walkthrough of the wrecked village really nicely with some somber piano in the background and the flashbacks to a brighter, better time as images are corrupted. Symbolically, that was perfect, as the colour fades and even the remaining flower, bright in bloom, is muted by the overcast clouds and thunder and rain, all of the life drained out of this once lovely home. Shockingly, I don't think that was CGI, and if it wasn't, that was incredible, really. Sometimes these can be hit or miss, sometimes they're overused. In this context, it's valid, and the voice actor did a brilliant job too, not even a hint of cracking at the peak of the screen.
見込み違いでしたな。受けた恩もわからぬ輩だったの。
いえ、あれを。
I'm a fairly simple boy and I like fairly simple plots. This one is up my alley. I like it, great start, pulled out all the animation stops and built some of the world at the same time, and I'm here for it. Such a clever use of CGI. Amazing looking, not gonna lie, not walking on the spot, one of the best in all of 2023, I think. They really could not have picked a better voice actor for his role than my boy Kazuma from Konosuba. Shout out to that anime getting its third season too, also looking forward to covering the Megamin series. I totally forgot about these guys, his roaming and hilarious fan club, and then I missed them when I remembered them. Two wins here. Firstly, I just truly missed this universe and its unique world-building mechanics such as this. But then secondly, I legit am in shock that they animated all of these characters moving on screen at the same time. That is incredible, to be honest with you.
ゲルド殿が襲撃されていると知らせが入った。
To be honest, Takio from Oromonogatari voicing this character will never not equal a win. How someone who looks so mild can produce such a gruff voice is beyond me, but he does such a great job at it, no less.
ファルムスを平定するために英雄ヨウムとディアブロを送り出したけど、本当に大丈夫かな?
Two wins again. Firstly, it's slimy, missed him a lot. Secondly, a nice dose of catch-up done very organically rather than via an exposition dump. Always better that way.
シオンもありがとうございます。
These two continuing to exist within this anime. I like them.
あ、うまい。
Kawaii slime!
おお、平和がいきなり破られた。
ささ、どうぞ。
Very clever, I think, to keep the common tropes from the series present in the movie, and even better than that, to me, this is more hilarious than any previous instance, as it looks so bad, bruh.
私は旗織りの途中でした。
Genuinely unexpected pair of gorgeous looking art style changes.
待てシオン、何か森の方で異変を感じる。
森でゲルドが襲撃されております。
襲撃されてる？
Absolutely perfect comedic timing on that. Oh my goodness, the animation on that powerful attack was outstanding! Love how they literally rippled the animation to create such an insane force knocking against another insane force. Awesome looking fake continuous motion shot, and that's not putting them down. It's rough to do them, so they do tiny cuts that look like the previously mentioned shot. Interestingly, they then did the same thing, but this time with a rotating shot. So it looked like it rotated a couple times, but actually didn't. That's well done. And there's the difference. This time it's a genuine full-on animated rotating shot, and it looks amazing, and clearly a lot of effort went into it. That's 2 max wins. I must admit, super impressed early on at not only the animation, but the sound effects are fantastic thus far. Every impact with the blade just sounds real. Was going to include that as part of the last win, but in all honesty, it sounded and looked so good, I had to give it its own win. But yeah, the sound effects are on point. How come no one warned me that the effects and animation would look this good though? No warning! This is nuts! I never expected to be dishing out so many wins during this battle, but it totally deserves it. I haven't seen such a good animation battle since My Hero Season 6's first half. Okay, a few wins here. Firstly, this one is a max 2 wins boy, because I cannot overlook that voice acting and the animation. Oh, the animation looks so good when pumped with those excellent effects. But also another win, because just before this, he dodged the girl, threw her away, and went straight back onto the attack. And I just enjoyed how they did it, and the realism that she isn't his target. Those sound effects, though! Did they find a friggin' church bell and smack it with a blade or something?
Masaka? Omae? Anija? Nanoka? Anija mo named ni natta no ka? Ah, kore hodo ureshii kiguu ga aru mono ka?
Totally, genuinely unexpected plot twist. Loving that.
いや、我らがオーガの里を滅ぼしたのは事実。何度謝っても許されることではない。
I must say, I think it was a great choice to bring this prior conflict from like season 1 back into focus. It grounds the story in more realism, rather than everything is beautiful and bright, everyone has moved on. Feels more real.
まさか本当に兄様。
おお、立派になったべ。
Oh my word, it just gets better and better. He knows her too and everyone else. So not everyone is lost who he thought he'd never see again. It's just lovely and heartwarming.
生きておられたなんて。
The wholesome is strong in this scene. Oh my word, I don't think these were CGI. Did you really just animate all of these people, you mad lads?
見ればわかるよ。本当に慕われてたんだな。
If you know me, and you really should because I'm a great guy, and you know this channel, you'll know that I'm strange and randomly enjoy scenes of everyone chatting and eating and drinking together like this. It's like Valium for my brain or something.
同胞の死は全くの無駄じゃなかったのだから。
そうですね。生きてるだけで丸儲けです。
かなり昔に大きな金脈を掘り尽くしてしまって、かつての繁栄は見る影もないありさまで。
I almost never do this, but first of all, I'm showing it with sound so you can witness it twice in all its glory, but I'm also giving it 2 max wins for being easily one of the 10 best scenery shots I've ever seen. That beautiful song, but also how it wonderfully matches the style of the scene itself. Awesome looking montage going over her kingdom and seeing her soldiers. From a world building perspective, it was great. My word, look at that! So many gorgeous looking frames as she did that! That's incredibly impressive! Also take a win for her being much the same as Hero. She's struggling and giving everything she's got to keep her people and her kingdom in good health, but you can see the worry on her face. Not gonna lie, that got to me a little bit. Especially with him running over to her like that in a panic.
だが、代償としてティアラにかけられている呪毒を受けてしまうか。
Decent bit of lore right there. I'm just a fan of any attempts to expand the wider world around what's already been seen from the first 2 seasons.
この暴風竜ベルドラ様が守護する森を侵すなど正気の沙汰ではないわ。
Another expansion of the lore in a really interesting fashion because obviously we already know Veldora and basically who his boss is. Also, take another follow-up win because creepy dudes like this just really remind me of those Griffith had to deal with in the 1997 Berserk series.
ユラの大森林に侵攻したファルブス王国軍がテンペストという国と戦になり全滅したとの報告です。
テンペスト。
To my mind, it's really clever to show us some of his backstory in dealing with the queen who saved him, then showing how he learnt of their community and thus knew where to attack the ogres who were working there at the time and so on. I thought they'd skip that, but happy to see that they didn't. Art style change, but no.
まっすぐ事情を話せば開墾の許可も悪いわ。
いろいろな魔物も受け入れている国と聞くしな。
As a character, he impressed me a lot, from his strive to achieve his goals, his strength, his loyalty, and also things like right here, where he quickly intakes the information and then immediately creates a plan by which to hopefully help his queen, who had helped him in his own time of need.
ヘビじゃ話にならん。
Could have so easily zoomed onto his face and saved themselves a lot of work, but instead they animate him leaving the scene step by step because they're legends! A simple but pretty cool way of showing everyone's power level who are sat there, as these two are the only ones who kind of went flying backwards a bit, everyone else managed to stay in place.
クレイマンのやつを倒して他の魔王にも認められたんです
His reaction to the praise in the background.
森に立ち入ったらダメなのか？なんでだ？
知らんよ。
だってさ。
想像しくせぬのなら勝手に森に入るがよかろう。
Two wins again. Firstly, I just love their relationship. It's so casually hilarious. But secondly, I liked the scene itself. It's so quick-witted, asking the question as to why it's forbidden, like some giant secret from ages past, and he's like, I don't know. She's also still in the anime. I don't even know why, but I've liked her since the first episode she appeared in.
ミリムってあの？
いやまさかね。
リムル殿。このままではラージャ小和国は滅んでしまう。俺は命の恩人であるトワ様と。
This is exactly what I meant during win number 81. He sees everything going on, insanely powerful people gathering around like it's not a big deal. He must notice how powerful he is and thus now takes the moment to ask for help.
頼まれなくたって力を貸すさ。一度お見舞いがてらトワさんに会ってみてもいいかな。
もちろんです。ありがとうございます。
Of course, while praising everyone else, it's easy to forget that he's such a good person as well. Always willing to help out his friends, making the world a better place at the same time for everyone. Such a great main character. They absolutely refuse to use CGI on any of these beasts.
美しい国ですね。
ありがとうございます。
I mean, come on. That's so good. It's like concept art out of Zelda or something. Beautiful. Nothing else to say. Should be in an art gallery. Okay, just a little more to say after all. In a weird way, one of the most impressive moments of the movie to date might actually be the fact that this wasn't just used as a joke and instead turned pretty serious all of a sudden. Totally didn't see that coming. You clever so-and-sos, you only went and used it in a way to naturally get him wet before entering the city and thus he can figure something out. Man, that's some good writing.
トレイニーさん、どうしてここに？
ちょっと後にしてくれんかの。
ちょっとリム
Movie is doing an excellent job of finding natural ways by which to bring in so many characters from the first two seasons into this story, and I'm loving it.
リリ様でーす。トレイニーちゃんより偉いんだからね。
Also have one here for how well they played this scene out. If you don't know Slime Dono or his people, this would be the world's biggest shock to the system. How the extremely powerful seem to orbit him.
トレイニーさんってどこにでも現れるな。ま、畑は任せとけば安心だけど。
そうですね。
A good example of multiple conversations taking place at the same time in the same room, rather than one ending and another kind of awkwardly starting. I've seen that in some anime recently.
ティアラの呪毒解除は不可能です。
Oddly enough, I had pretty much entirely forgotten about her. Good to see her again.
対症療法を推奨します。需要競争薬として蜂蜜を摂取させてください。
Also great to my mind and worth a win is that not everything in this world can be easily solved by him or by magic or whatever. Really stops him from being too overpowered.
毎食後にスプーン1杯分くらい食べるようにしてくれ。
確かに顔色が良くなっている。こんなすぐに。
ですがこの力を使わねば民たちが鉱山の毒で。
そっちもなんとかするよ。
These scenes wouldn't be half as wholesome as they are if the trouble wasn't taken to properly introduce these characters and flesh them out a little as well. Very good pacing to date. I'm not sure I've seen so many scenery shots looking so good since maybe Jobless Reincarnation. As an aside, cannot wait for the second season to start.
自然界にはありえない組成の毒です。
滝の水を解析したんだが、どうもおかしい。
Like I said in the start, it's a simple story. I'm a simple boy. This is right up my street and to the left. I like it a lot, and now the plot thickens at just the right point. It's very good, I think. From a purely stylish perspective, that is awesome and such a good representation of his power.
食らいつくぜ、ベルゼビュート。
国毒の浄化完了しました。
よし。
This is an odd one for me. I've seen many overpowered characters in my time, yet I don't see him as one oddly enough. In fact, I'm just thrilled watching him perform this overpowering action in awe. Speaks to the writing and character development more than anything, I suppose. Nothing else to say other than, that was sick. The Palace at Night.
だからさ、今後もラージャと交流を続けてもいいかな。ここのみんなと今後も仲良くしたい。ダメかな。
Great main character, and again it really speaks to the lore expansion and world building chops that this anime always has on display.
私はリムル様が羨ましいです。私はずるいのです。彼を助けたら、仲間になってくれたら打算なのですわ。
だいたい名前をつけたからって心までは縛れないって。もっと気楽に自分の気持ちに正直になった方がいいって。
They really didn't have to add this nice little piece of internal reflection and character building on her, but I'm really glad it was added. It speaks to her personality and gives a lot more depth to her and her actions, because to her mind, she didn't help him because she's kind, she helped to one day have him protect her people and her kingdom as much as he protected his own during their initial fight at the start.
あのお方の望みを叶えてこそ私の地位も高まるというもの。
I'm honestly quite shocked to see the outcome to this. It was unexpected that it wasn't some massive conspiracy or some new powerful enemy our Slimy would have to beat before the end of the movie. It's refreshing in a weird way that it's fairly simple and a neighbouring country's greed instead. It's a small thing, but I like how they do that zoom through shot.
里を飛び出して随分経っちまった。
Putting into focus the vast losses he saw in his town, making it now come across far less of a small village and far more of a grand town, suffering hundreds of losses. It also makes more sense how he felt so much pain when he first returned having woken up. Also, take another one for showing this side to him. I already liked him, but the idea that he buried many, or who knows, perhaps all of them over the days he was missing from the castle near the start of the movie just further raises his stock in my mind.
みんな すまない。俺がもっと強ければ守れた。
What a heart-wrenching scene! He's such a great character, I swear. Take a win for that whole moment.
湖が急に瘴気を発するほどに毒されて民を救うためにティアラの魔力を使ったそうです。
なんだ、隣国の軍隊が動き出したという情報が入って、もうみんなパニックで。
あのちくわんという医者、本当に今まで治療していたのか？
Again, another good and well-planned out plot twist I didn't see coming.
大船に乗ったつもりで我に任せておくがよい。
Just like in the second season, I find myself really enjoying their relationship.
ティアラの呪毒と湖の魔法陣を構築した者に少々心当たりがございます。
In a world with a certain art style change, I absolutely cannot look at this dude and not somehow see JoJo animation. Even though it's very brief, a ton of detail was put into this room.
わかった。
You know, it occurs to me that for pretty much every other character, this would annoy me. A clearly evil-looking dude telling him to do something and he does it. But when you keep in mind everything we've learnt about him, hell, everything I've specifically praised him for, it makes total sense why he does it. He's extremely loyal to a fault. He went out of his way on multiple occasions to state how he'd do anything to protect someone he cares about in the future.
準備はいいな。では転送する。
Heck yes, feels like we're ready for war. Loving this movie. Those amazing looking effects though. It's little things like this I find myself appreciating, gravity being taken into account with her clothing. Must be such a pain to have to animate it though.
彼らにも聞こえるようにするから。よし。
隣国ですが、ラージャに眠っている巨大な金鉱脈を狙っている。
Realism, as the others who've never witnessed this kind of magic before are naturally shocked and all confused.
すぐにかき集めて住民を避難させるんだ。
しかし
心配するな。攻撃が始まったら俺の仲間が力を宋英も援護に向かってくれ。
Again, it's a small thing, but it speaks to his mind frame and character that he immediately begins to issue out orders for what's coming. A lot of thought goes into the strategy on display and I like it. How to effectively mix hand-drawn animation with CGI to great effect.
ヒーロー様では、ヒーロー様は女王陛下のためにその身を捧げられるのです。
気にするな。
Most of the music has been nicely in the background doing its thing, but this track hits differently, carried emotion with it, and deserves its own win.
あなたは仲間たちの分まで、私の分まで。
This movie really did just casually walk on in and introduce two cracking great characters, didn't it?
完全に陛下の全身が蝕まれれば
降り注ぐでしょう。あのお方の拍手が。
I might be wrong, but I feel as though they're subtly bringing the focus onto someone who will feature in the third season, and if so, that's well done within this movie. That! Another art style change. Just can't show much of this one, as he's a little naked and big-bellied.
狂いよりとなった気分はどうですか？
The environmental damage in this one has been top-notch since the very first battle. This fight just tipped it over the edge and into Clear Winds territory though.
その姿、どうしたヒーロー。
There's those epic effects and sound effects again. So happy I get to see and hear them one more time before the movie ends.
たびたび邪魔しよって。
おい。
Hard to describe this win. Just loved the sudden, tricky, fast-paced nature of that, rather than a long statement of hatred and how he's gonna get him eventually and what the plan is and so on.
言ってください。
This! Shockingly once more, I don't think that's CGI. I think they hand animated the run through a CGI tunnel. Those crazy talented people. I'm sorry, if you thought that was only get the single win, you've got issues and I don't think I can help you. This lovely little visual showcasing of the enemy's movements looking all video game-like.
久しぶりですね、ビオレ。
何しに来たんだよ、ノアール。
Rico from Made in Abyss.
教えてやってもいいですが、あの国から手を引くのが条件です。
嫌だね。
Scenes like this remind me of just how massive this world's lore is. It's easy to forget as time goes on, but it is absolutely massive in size and scope.
美味しそうな感情を感じてさ、気まぐれに行ってみたんだよ。そしたら女王なんて言ったと思う？
Genuinely a really pretty art style change, kind of like those old super high quality pop-up books from when I was a kid. Also, take one here for the explanation of the origins of the curse and the tiara and how it all came about in the first place.
民が豊かに暮らせるのならば、私の身など。
It's quite striking, really, that all of her descendants were of the same frame of mind as herself today. Arguably, it's not great to force that responsibility upon your children, but the mindset is that the duty of the rulers is to protect the people, and it's definitely admirable if nothing else. They can actually have one more here for the visuals. I'm utterly captivated by them. It's just so well done.
もうそろそろよりしろとして完成すると思うんだよね。トワちゃんの次っ子。 その次ぐらいの子が狙い目かな?
Just an easy way to show the viewer of how some denizens of this world seriously play the long game. Hundreds of years are no big deal at all, and thus, at the same time, it continues to build this world and its peoples. This movie is just oozing style, close to that of Love is War. Such a great pair of examples of continuous motion shots done right. Oh, I adore that so much. No sudden cuts, up close shots, or effects blocking the action. Just plain old combat done with tons of frames. This is some next level stuff. They mixed together CGI and hand animation again, just seamlessly. How come there's just so much style though?
これくらいなんてことない。何？邪魔する気？
お嬢様、ここまでです。
まだやれるんだから。
お嬢様、ご報告が。
How are you going to keep on expanding the lore by suddenly introducing new characters? It's like the Lord of the Rings up in here. The trilogy of movies, not the terrible series that is.
ラージャが隣国より攻撃を受けております。さあ、お嬢様。
わかったよ。
Also though, I don't even need to Google it. This dude is clearly Old Man Ron from ReZero and the old dude from Dr. Stone. He's like late 70s and still in the game. Getting to see the scenes of the war in the background.
リムル、ね。じゃ。
Very much feels as though this will come into play in the third season. Hype! I feel so genuinely blessed to be checking back in with this outrageously awesome battle. Between the music, the excellent voice acting, and of course the obvious stuff on screen, easily worthy of 2 max wins. Oh my god, it's so freaking badass! I'm throwing punches at my laptop recording this! If this movie has excelled in one specific area more than a lot of other anime movies, it's the highest quality mixing of CGI and animation time and again. Few others are this talented. Ugh, that's simply put, one of the best scenery shots I've seen in years. It's so RPG-ish, I want to go side questing around it, you feel me? Ah, that's when you know character building was done right. I noticed him do the same thing when fighting the piglet earlier on. He quickly moves aside his enemy to do something else, such as save her. How come he's just the best though? Just casually minding that wind's vein by showing the city in the background. I rarely do this, but definitely a win for holding that note for that long. I cannot help but heap praise on the studio, focusing far more on fluid frames than effects all over the place to sell the scene as being one of action. I can hear the pickaxes striking in the distance. I'm gonna be real, this action easily matches the greatness from Jujutsu Kaisen 0, or at the very least, it's close by, just behind. It's almost a similar style too.
誰と喋ってんだ？あのさ、僕はね、彼女たちの選択の結果として。
Kind of in the same vein as a previous win, I do like that he cannot hear her voice like this. Plays into my personal viewpoint that he's not all powerful and is basically a god. Just me, or did this make anyone else immediately think of the Eminence in Shadow? Goodness me, what an ability that is! This is insane. It's not even repeated movements like you'd see in Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super or whatever. King of effects in this one, both sound and otherwise. The highest of praisey kudos. Oh, way too close for comfort that was!
Hiro!
I absolutely refuse to show him nabbing that thing out of his chest, but oh boy! Oh, does it get a win for being nasty, man! Sinew and chest juices everywhere? Didn't see that coming! It's one of those moments where I wait to win it because I can't take myself away to write the script. I have to know what's going to happen first, and it's sad, man. Just like one of the first wins of the movie, he can have one for going out like this. A true warrior. Yup, don't even care. You can get another win for that, especially since we know that the tiara literally is a wish-granting device. So there's no pulling of the behind here in order to make a miracle out of thin air. Are you kidding me? Are you just determined to destroy my heart after all? Like, that's so sad, because she literally knew that's what was going to happen. And maybe in her heart she wanted to ensure that she wasn't being selfish when she named him and made the ultimate sacrifice for someone.
今まで楽しませてもらったお礼も込めて少しばかりお詫びを奮発しとくね。
告、何者かの干渉を確認。
This damn movie! Like 3 times ripped my heart out and then performed open heart surgery, only to rip it out again. This is cruel and unusual punishment under the Geneva Convention and I'll be making a complaint. But for now, take 2 max wins for this. Likely for the final time, one more for this glorious sunrise scenery shot. one more, the studio said, winking at me, but this time with fireworks.
ベニマルとヒーローの戦闘で崩れた洞窟に鉄鉱石の鉱脈が発見されました。
鉄鉱石ならいくらあっても困らないし、我が国が買い上げるよ。ではラージャ小和国とテンペストの未来を祝して。
Such a wholesome end to the story. Have the final win here for the end of the movie. All ended well. Some trouble back at home caused by near literal gods that he then had to punish in a funny scene, but most of all for being a great movie. With the slightly lower than expected Mal score, I thought it might not be that good, but it really was. It felt like it filled a perfect void between seasons 2 and 3, and 100% felt and is canon, which is awesome. The battles were great. Loved seeing all of the characters, a decent story with no world-ending bosses to beat, which it totally didn't require. Let me know what you thought down below, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Creator follower, Lifty, Corey Bush, Unacami Water, Manuel Morales, Marquez, Nick Wyndham, Orkeeper, The Ever Commander, Adalisk, Bird Without a Word, Brendan Creer, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Gaten 2000, Jessica Starks, Kepin, Comfroik, Kylie W, Magnus, Nathan Blur, Satai Kuyore, Sean, Sebastian Ramirez, Wiccan Faye, Ali 50, Baked Patats 3827, Dark Lord Blaze Soul, Dub Defender Matt Mello, Guru, Israel Caldera, Yor Edfinson, Jonas Stahl, Jaffa 6263, Kieran Robinson, Kelnog, Kevin Nelter, Conito, Laxus, Luis Cruz, Matthew Blansett, Nicholas C, 1928, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Peter Milligan, Saint Flo 25, Sentimento, Storm 970, The Elementator Wars.